Hey guys, what's up? Today is the one and only reunion day, which is April 25th. In fact, it is the 5-year anniversary of Reunion Day. So I would like to do something special. I would like to review a classic movie that I've been wanting to watch and review for a very long time, and that is Vertigo by Alfred Hitchcock. Vertigo is a film released in the year 1958, and it is directed by the one and only, the master suspense thriller director Alfred Hitchcock. Usually he doesn't give any of his cast or crew room for improvisation. Everything has to be under his command, and everything is super well planned and organized, and they are all in Hitchcock's head. So yes, he is a masterful director. The first Hitchcock film I've actually ever watched was Strangers on a Train. I watched it last year, released in 1951, and Strangers on a Train really surprised me. I love it a lot. It's way better than I have expected. It's very well paced. It is skin tight, well paced. The lighting is amazing. Even though it is completely black and white, it still manages to strike a lot of beautiful chiaroscuro lighting. And also, the plot is just really interesting, it's riveting, it's a lot of fun, and it is a really fun and really thrilling movie. Thrilling thriller. Now we move forward to Vertigo, which is in color. And there aren't a lot of movies in the year 1958 that are in color. A lot of it are also still in black and white, even for directors like Orson Welles, who released Touch of Evil in the same year. Touch of Evil is also completely in black and white, and it looks great too. But anyways, going back to Vertigo, it is about a man named Scotty, and he is played by James Stewart, and he wants to get a job, and he has a fear of heights. So he spoke to his old college friend, and his old college friend told Scotty to investigate his wife, who is Madeline Elster. And what's up with Madeline Elster is that she seems to be possessed by a dead woman who's been dead for over 100 years. And for some reason, she would go into trances, and she would start acting like that said dead woman. And she would even pretend to be that dead woman, with the hairstyle, the flowers, and the necklace, all resembling a certain painting, a portrait of that dead woman. And the plot thickens and complicates when Madeline suddenly disappeared. She went into a hotel and she just disappeared. And the plot thickens even more when Midge, who is a close friend of Scotty's, suddenly painted a portrait of that dead woman, whose name is Carlotta Valdez, but with her own head on it. And the first two acts basically deal with this mystery, and I actually really like it. It's really interesting. I really want to know what's going on. How is a dead woman possessing someone from the modern days? Who is this dead woman, which is Carlotta Valdez? How did Midge know about this? And what's the whole story behind this? And it was really interesting, and I actually generally like it. Even though the pace of this movie is definitely slower and not as smooth as that of Strangers on a Train, I still really like the mystery, paranoia elements of the story. It's really strong. On top of that, we have the amazing technical aspects of this movie. First of all, let's get it out of the way. Saul Bass, with the opening title sequence of the movie, really friggin' good. And then we have one of the strongest elements of the movie, which is the colors. Even though this is one of the first few films that has color, the usage of colors in this film is amazing. It is gorgeous, it is hypnotizing, it is dreamy, and it is psychedelic. There's a lot of beautiful usage of green and what green represents, because whenever Madeline is on screen, there's a great chance that she would be green. And when she's green, it means she's kind of possessed by this Carlotta Valdez, and it is beautifully shown, especially in contrast with the red velvety background of that restaurant, and then that other spot later in the movie in the hotel where there's green neon lights from the billboard. There's a lot of beautiful usage of green, and there's blue as well, which is usually more attached to James Stewart's character. And there are also many other colors, but it's just really beautiful, really well used and well composed, and a lot of shots are just magnificent. They are gorgeous. The lighting is fantastic as well. Shout out to D.P. Robert Burks. Partially what makes this movie really hypnotizing and dreamy as well has got to be the music. The music is really good as well. It is very hypnotizing, distressing, and swirly, and really fits the tone of the story. And the music with the colors, with the story, they all come together and make this movie extra mysterious and strange. And I just really, really love it. Shout out to musical composer Bernard Herrmann. Now, that being said, even though I really like the premise of the story and I really like the technical aspects of the story, here is the reason why this movie is actually a bit disappointing. Enter the last act, where for some reason, the story decided to reveal the ultimate plot twist that basically solved the mystery. Not even towards the end of the movie, but right at the beginning of the last act. And then every single scene, aside from the final scene, every single scene after that plot twist is just very bland. Because we already know what's going on. We already know the story and how it played out. We already solved the mystery. There's no mystery left. And I kind of get the idea that the movie tried to almost change the mystery of the story. Originally, it's how was Madeline possessed by a dead woman and how did she disappear? And then after that's solved, now the mystery's changed to, okay, how would Scotty react when he learns the truth? But I feel like this movie didn't make me sympathize with Scotty enough to make me really want to root for him. Or actually, in other words, this movie didn't make its audience go, wow, Scotty is really mentally unstable. I wonder what kind of crazy things he will do when he understands the truth, when he sees and learns the truth. The story didn't really deal with that at all. I mean, sure, Scotty acted really, really impulsive in the last act of the movie, but did it create an unnerving, disturbing, almost suspenseful vibe? Not really. I mean, we already know the truth, and Scotty's just being very impulsive and obsessive, but that's pretty much just it. There is no mystery left. I mean, there's no point. And then we have the character of Midge, who at first I thought were tying to the story a little bit more, but after the plot twist, she just disappears. She doesn't show up anymore, and in the second act of the movie, there's a scene where Midge did a painting of her with her head on Carlotta Valdez's body, which is very unnerving and somewhat funny. But, and then I was like, whoa, so Midge somehow knows about this, right? Like, what the heck? And then the story doesn't really deal with that. Almost as if the story basically dismissed this whole incident as a coincidence, which is disappointing. I thought it meant something, man. And then there's the whole disappearance thing. How did Madeline disappear in the hotel? How did she disappear in the hotel? She disappeared for one scene, so it's not a consistent thing. But she just disappeared. How did she do that? How did she disappear? And I thought the story would explain that, but it didn't. And then we have the final ending scene, which is, yes, it is scary. I mean, who wouldn't be afraid in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere, in a scene where something horrible happened and then a dark shadow slowly emerged out of nowhere? I mean, I would be scared, but I thought there was a deeper meaning behind that ending, but actually there isn't. There isn't. Um, and I was prepared for a second plot twist where, oh, just when you think the mystery is solved, actually it is still there. But when I read more into this movie, I went online, looked at the discussion posts, and apparently it doesn't really mean anything. It's also just a coincidence. And with an ending like this, with a last act like this, right? I really did thought that there would be a deeper meaning behind all this. There would be a second plot twist or even a third plot twist, but no, there just isn't one. And I was left a little bit underwhelmed, honestly. I was so invested in the whole mystery behind, oh, the dead woman possessing the Madeline. Oh my god, this and that and this and that. The last act just pales so much in comparison. It's actually kind of underwhelming. That being said, though, the music, the cinematography, and the last act is still really, really friggin' great. I'm just not completely sold by how the story played out at the end. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Actually, I want to add that James Stewart has acrophobia. He has a fear of heights, but this fear of heights never tied into the story all that much, other than that one scene or that two scenes where, he's trying to climb a tower and he looked down and he's like, oh my god. But that's it. It didn't really tie into the story as much as I hoped it would. So that is also a little bit underwhelming. But yeah, that's that. I'm giving Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo strong 8 out of 10. Yes, strong 8, which means it's still a real great movie. It's still really good. I still enjoy it. The first two acts are amazing. It's just that the last act kinda underwhelmed me. So, have you watched Vertigo? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like it and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.